Today's guest tells us that sickness and disease can often be avoided by the foods that we eat. He tells us in his book, God's Original Diet, The Spiritual Way to Health, that God has the ultimate health plan. Today's guest is Dr. Malcom Hill, and this is Babbie's House. Stay with me. It's coming up right now.
Babbie's house, Babbie's house. Every day is filled with possibility. At Babbie's house, Babbie's house. Everybody is family. Welcome to Babbie's house.
Hello and welcome to Babbie's House, where everybody is a member of the family, and that means you. And speaking of family, you know, family wants you to do the best that you can do. And today we have a wonderful guest, Dr. Malcom Hill, who has written a book called God's Original Diet. And he tells us that our health can be maintained, our sickness and disease can be avoided and sometimes eliminated by the foods that we eat. He tells us, and we know that in God's Word, he gives us the ultimate diet, the ultimate health plan, a way to avoid sickness and disease, not just for a day, but for a lifetime. You're going to meet Dr. Malcom Hill today on Babbie's House. We're going to talk about health God's way. So stay with me. I'm going to sing a song for you right now. I know that worship and praise in the spirit of joy makes us feel good. So I want you to maybe get up on your feet and just worship God with me today. And let's go before the Lord in praise. The hope that I'm believing. You are the gift that keeps on giving. You are the air that I am breathing. Jesus, how amazing you are. You are. Yes, you are. Everything that I wanted. You are. Everything that I needed. Everything that I needed. Yes, you are. That I long for. Jesus, how amazing you are. You're so amazing.
For years, scientists have explored remote corners of the Earth, searching for exotic substances that might help prevent cancer. At last, man has discovered a secret place where powerful remedies can actually be found. Medical research shows that a vegetarian diet rich in fruits, vegetables and whole grains can help prevent many types of cancer. Wherever you live, cancer prevention is as close as your grocery store. To learn more, call 866-906-WELL.
In the fight against cancer, doctors need the most powerful weapons possible. And today, doctors are talking about what might be the most important weapon of all: the food we eat.
How's your veggie burger?
Great. How's your salad?
Looks super.
Fruits, vegetables, and high-fiber vegetarian foods can help prevent cancer and other health risks. Visit cancerproject.org or call 866-906-WELL for a free booklet to find out more.
Mia Hamm led the U.S. women's soccer team to Olympic gold. Now, as a new mom, her biggest challenge is providing her twin daughters with the right nutrition.
What I've learned is that your baby needs the big 3 nutrients. The first 2 you've probably heard of, folic acid and calcium with vitamin D. They're vital to you and your baby's health. A lesser-known nutrient is DHA. It's an omega-3 fatty acid that's important for your baby's brain, heart, and eye development.
Studies show that DHA is an important building block of infant nutrition. It may help promote a healthy pregnancy and help prevent late preterm birth. You can get it by eating fish, but a safer and easier way is to include foods or supplements fortified with a vegetarian source of DHA, including certain brands of eggs, milk, prenatal vitamins, soy milk, and yogurt.
Your baby gets DHA through breast milk, but she can also get it in more than 90% of infant formulas. So you can feel good knowing you're giving your baby what she really needs.
Learn more at thebig3.org.
And welcome back to Babbie's House. I want you to meet Dr. Malcom Hill. He practices in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and he is one of those doctors that is a proponent of health God's way. We know that the Word of God gives us wisdom and knowledge, and the Bible even tells us that God said, "My people perish because of a lack of knowledge." And I'm so grateful that here on Babbie's House, we do everything that we can to bring you people who will give you the perspective, the godly perspective. And I want you to help me to welcome to Babbie's House Dr. Malcom Hill. Welcome to Babbie's House, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. And I love the title of your books, and we'll talk more about those books and tell you how you can get those books as our program progresses. God's Original Diet, The Spiritual Way to Health, and God's Health Care Plan. And, you know, just from looking at the cover of his books, you can see, you know, God's wonderful fruits and vegetables and a beautiful garden and flowers and living things. So can you talk, let's start with God's Original Diet. You know, you can just leave your TV on for 30 minutes and every commercial is about a way to lose weight or a way to alleviate pain or a way to alleviate depression and all of these things that are coming against the body. So let's start with what is actually God's original diet.
God's original diet is found in Genesis 1:29. Before God made Adam, he prepared the earth for him. We first find that he hovered over the faces of the water. He also made the sunlight. He also made the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was supposed to provide the food for Adam and Eve to eat. So everything before Adam was made was prepared for him. And in Genesis 1:29, God told Adam, "Behold, I've given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for food." So this was God giving Adam, man, his diet, the foods that he should eat. These are foods that grow in the garden. If you also notice, these foods contain seeds. Apples, oranges, bananas, vegetables all contain seeds. So when we eat these foods, because they have life in them, they're going to give us life. We also have to plant the seeds of these fruits and vegetables, and they grow into the fruits or the vegetables that they become. Now, you mentioned a key word earlier, and that is live. You said that the book's covers show live.
Living foods.
Living foods. So when we eat the foods that God originally intended for us to eat, these are live foods. You know, oranges, apples, fruits, and vegetables have living material in them, the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. Therefore, when we eat these foods, they're going to give us life, energy, and strength. However, the world's healthcare systems do advertise to us dead foods, you know, refined processed foods, liquid drinks that are not healthy for us, they give us no life, alcohol and tobacco, refined processed foods. These foods give us no life. And when a majority of your diet consists of dead and diseased foods, eventually they're going to make you sick, disease, and you die because you become a product of your own eating environment. So it's important that we eat the foods that God outlined in the Bible for us to eat. And by doing this, and also living a healthy lifestyle, drinking plenty of water, getting the adequate amounts of sunlight, getting proper amounts of rest and sleep, exercise, all these things, along with eating healthy, will prevent and even reverse diseases that many Americans suffer from today.
Let's talk about living foods, and then we're going to talk about water and sunlight and sleep and all of those things that the Word of God talks about as well. But let's talk about some of those living foods. Let's talk about living food versus processed food. Mm-hmm. Talk to me what it is about living food that is better for us than processed food.
Living foods are going to give us life, energy, and strength. Again, all fruits and vegetables are live foods. See, when I plant that seed in the earth of an orange, it's going to grow me an orange tree. So that means there's some life there that took place. When I plant, an apple seed, it's going to grow me an apple tree.
Yes.
So there's some life there. And when that apple tree produced the apples and I eat from that apple, it's going to give me the life forces that it has inside of it. Eating excessive amounts of meats, when we eat the chicken, the fried chicken, and the pork chops, that animal is dead. There's no life in that food. So when a majority of our diet consists of the meats, the dairy products, the refined processed foods, since there's no life, energy, and strength in those foods, when we eat them, they're not going to provide us with any life, energy, and strength into our bodies. So therefore, as we continue to eat those foods, for years and years, they're going to eventually cause the cancers, the high blood pressure, the obesity, the heart attacks and strokes, the depression, that many Americans suffer with.
So how, therefore, then do living foods help to eliminate or change the makeup of sickness and disease in our body? Because we know that living foods can sometimes reverse sickness and disease. How does that happen?
Because the fruits and vegetables, the apples and the oranges that I mentioned earlier, because they have the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that the body is made of. They're going to help eliminate and reverse the diseases that we have.
That's good.
Apples and oranges, and as I keep mentioning those, but all fruits and vegetables have all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that the body needs. We know that God made us from the dust of the earth, and these foods grow from the earth. Therefore, they provide the body with all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that the body needs. The refined processed foods, the excessive amounts of meats, the dairy products does not have the essential nutrients that the earth produces like the fruits and vegetables do.
So basically you're saying living foods produce life.
Correct.
Dead foods produce death.
That's correct.
So dead food, stuff that comes out of a bag, processed food, stuff that is manufactured.
By man.
By man.
Yes. It's going to eventually cause sicknesses and diseases. A good example is, let's take rice. Rice naturally grows brown from the earth. However, man takes this perfect food and takes out all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients out, takes the fiber out, and what's left is a white starch. It's a sugary starch. So when we eat heavy amounts of white rice, it gets into the bloodstream and it causes a sugar high or a sugar rush. This is not the way God made rice, and this is not the way it was intended to be eaten. And when rice, along with other refined processed foods, the white breads, the bagels, the biscuits that we love, the excessive amounts of meats, the dairy products, the alcohol and tobacco, even the coffee, sodas, tea, and Kool-Aid, because these foods have
Wait a minute, don't talk
sugar.
about the Kool-Aid now.
I understand.
Don't touch the Kool-Aid.
Yes. I understand, but God did provide us water to drink. And because these foods make up a majority of our diet, again, they do lead to sicknesses, diseases, and death because they're all dead foods.
Yes. I think oftentimes that health begins in the mind. Oftentimes when you go to the doctor, we're getting to where they just assume. They assume that you're hypertensive. They even assume that you're a diabetic. And so it's becoming a mindset. So you encourage us in your book, God's Original Diet Plan, God's Original Diet, The Spiritual Way to Health, that to go to living food, to think that not to acquiesce to sickness and disease, not to just assume that as you get older, you're going to be arthritic, not to assume that because you get older, you're going to be a diabetic or you're going to have high blood pressure. Talk to me about the importance of water. You touched on the Kool-Aid a moment ago. You touched on the sodas and the sugar content that a lot of these drinks have. Even the diet sodas, we think, well, I'll stay away from the sugar, I'll go to the diet soda. Talk to me about drinks that come in a can that are processed in a factory somewhere as opposed to water.
Yes, you know, the coffee, sodas, tea, and Kool-Aid, they have sugar in them. They also have caffeinated products, caffeine. And when a majority of our liquid intake consists of these foods, it can lead to the diabetes, especially sodas can lead to like obesity. Caffeine eventually can cause headaches for a lot of people to have. It can even lead to depression. This is not the liquid that God intended for us to drink. You know, every animal in nature drinks water only.
So
and
you're
humans
saying
should be the same.
That what we eat and drink can lead to depression?
That's correct.
How does that happen?
You know,
because everybody's, you know, a lot of people are suffering from clinical depression.
Correct.
And so how do the foods that we eat play into that?
You know, when we eat a lot of unhealthy foods, if you think about it, they're really comfort foods. You know, the hamburgers, the pizzas, the excessive amounts of meats that we eat. Because they do not provide us with life, energy, and strength, they're going to eventually lead to diseases. Those diseases, many times, if we go after the world's healthcare system, they'll put us on drugs. Those drugs, along with an unhealthy diet, will eventually cause a person to become depressed because they're sick, they're not well. The way to reverse that is to go by God's healthcare plan. When you start eating healthier foods, it's going to make you feel better. When you start exercising, it's going to make you feel better. When you start living an overall healthier lifestyle, it's going to make you feel better. It's going to help reduce the depression. Also, sunlight. Sunlight has been shown to help reverse depression. Studies have shown that patients who are on the sunny side of the hospital heal faster because
very interesting.
Yes, because sunlight is a natural healer. It's natural medicine. And again, God provided this for Adam and man even before he made Adam. He had all these things in mind for Adam before he was made. So sunlight is very important to help prevent depression, along with eating healthier foods, exercising, fresh air, and drinking plenty of water.
I'm talking today with Dr. Malcom Hill. He's the author of God's Original Diet, The Spiritual Way to Health, and God's Healthcare Plan. And when we come back after this break, we're going to talk about God's healthcare plan. So much talk about the healthcare plan, about healthcare. We're going to talk about healthcare God's way. Stay with me after this break. We're coming back with more of Babbie's House.
When it's time for lunch, a sandwich is a quick and easy choice. And with the right ingredients, it can be good and good for you. So I'm here today to see who can build the ultimate sandwich. All right, when the time is up, our judges will give you their scores. Ready, set, go! Okay, Jason starts out with a multi-grain roll. Ooh, Allison stuffing her pita with, yes, spinach, a great source of iron. Jason isn't skipping on the protein, adding plenty of smoked turkey, just like Allison's putting the finishing touches with crispy red bell peppers for a dose of vitamin A. Time! It looks like we have a tie. We'll need to call in our special guest referee.
Now, these are what I call quick, delicious lunches. Whole grain breads, a whole variety of ingredients. There are so many different ways to build delicious, healthy sandwiches. These two get high marks in every category. I'd say you're both winners. America.
Let's get healthy together.
have to happen. It kills more than 1,500 people every year and injures 71,000 more. It has been linked to health and safety risks, even premature death. And every year it costs the American economy billions of dollars in lost productivity. It's hard to overestimate the value of a good night's sleep. Today, 2/3 of all Americans don't get the sleep doctors recommend. 70 million have problems sleeping. But new treatments are helping millions get the sleep they need. So talk to your doctor or take our free risk assessment on the web at www.sleepfoundation.org. Sleep deprivation. It's real, it's dangerous, and it's more treatable than ever.
And welcome back to Babbie's House. I've been talking today with Dr. Malcom Hill. He's a great author as well as being a doctor. He's a wonderful teacher. He's available to go to churches and organizations and talk about health God's way, about the health care plan God's way. Did you know God has a health care plan? And Dr. Hill is knowledgeable as well as encouraging us to take care of our bodies and do it God's way. There's a very special story that I want our viewers to hear of something very significant that happened to you when you were just a young man. Tell us about that.
Yes, when I was young and maybe junior high school, I had a lot of my uncles and aunties dying of cancer. And I began to become fearful. I prayed to the Lord to teach me about health, because from the world's healthcare perspective, if, you know, your uncles, aunties had cancer, your mom and dad had cancer, you're going to get cancer too. Mm-hmm. They call it genetic or being hereditary. So I prayed that prayer. I was very sincere, but it wasn't until I got to chiropractic school, Life University in Marietta, Georgia, where I was taught under a natural hygienic doctor the importance of eating healthy foods, exercise, sunlight, drinking plenty of water, getting proper rest and sleep, and how these things help to prevent and reverse sicknesses and diseases. He taught that your diet played the most important role in determining your health, but you had to choose the correct diet. And as I was listening to him, God reminded me that all this is in the Word of God that he's teaching. And I thought that message was for me only. I was like, okay, I've learned this information. I can prevent sicknesses and diseases from entering into my body. And I was fine with that. But God spoke to me and told me that the message was not for me, but for his people, and commissioned me to go and teach this health message to his children.
That's powerful. You know, this is amazing that God showed you, he revealed his calling to you by placing a burden on your own heart and life. That's very powerful, and that's just a word to somebody who's asking God, what do you want me to do? What is your plan for me? What is your plan for me? What lane do you want me to get in? Well, follow your burden. What is it that's on your heart today? Start there and see how God will speak to you. You have a book, Dr. Hill, called God's Healthcare Plan. There's a lot of talk about healthcare in the media today, with Obamacare and all of these things, this talk about healthcare. But you tell us in your book that God has a healthcare plan. Talk to us about that.
Yes, God invented the original healthcare plan, and we talked some about it earlier, where before he made Adam, he provided a healthcare plan for Adam to live by. He created the water. He created the sunlight. He told Adam to toil in the garden, or that was Adam's form of exercise, to till to the ground. He made the Garden of Eden, which would provide the foods that Adam and Eve would eat from. So God created the original healthcare plan. But due to sin, man has gotten away from the original healthcare plan. And we have to learn that we're born into a system today that's designed to get us sick. There are many systems of the world that works together, as far as insurance companies, doctors, pharmaceutical companies, that's right, drug companies, hospice, even politicians, if I have to say so. They all work together to get you sick, keep you sick, and it takes your money. So even as children, we have foods that are advertised to us as far as baby foods. We have potato chips, sodas, unhealthy foods that are advertised to us. And as we continue to eat these foods, the fast foods, they're going to eventually cause sickness and diseases to occur in our bodies. We're going to then seek after the world's healthcare system through doctors, and chances are they're going to put you on drugs, medicines, and after the drugs and medicines don't work for years, they may provide you with surgeries. And when the surgeries don't work, it's just a cycle that the people fall into, never getting better because they did not seek God's plan for their life.
Dr. Hill, you are obviously a proponent of natural foods and doing health care God's way. What if a person that comes to you is chronically sick? Do you ever prescribe medication to them?
You know, as a chiropractor, I cannot prescribe drugs, but I do teach the patient from an alternative perspective how to get better. Let's say if a person has high blood pressure, I can't prescribe that patient high blood pressure pills, but I can go over that patient's diet. I can go over with their patient their lifestyle, and we can start to make changes that's going to start to reduce that patient's high blood pressure naturally.
Yes.
We're going to start having that patient to eat healthier foods. We're going to add more fruits and vegetables into their diet. We're going to start having that patient to exercise more. We're going to start having that patient to get the proper amount of rest and sleep, drink plenty of water. And by doing these things from a natural perspective, it's going to bring down their blood pressure naturally without having drugs. You can also do this with diabetes. You can also do this with high blood cholesterol and even cancer.
Very good. Dr. Malcom Hill has been my guest today, and what powerful, life-changing information this is. And you know, when you do it God's way, that's the best way. And the Bible promises that, God promises that we have a long life.
Yes.
And that we prosper and we be in health,
yes,
even as our soul prospers. Dr. Hill, I want folks to know how they can contact you to get more information about your books and about your practice and about your teaching and all of these wonderful things that you bring to the table. How can we find you?
Yes, again, I'm a chiropractor in Riverdale, Georgia. It's just south of Atlanta. If you would like to order a copy of my books, you can go to my website. It's www.godsoriginaldiet.com.
Very good. Thank you again for being my guest. And thank you for being my very special guest on Babbie's House. I know this show has blessed you. I want to hear from you. Babbie.com. I love you. I'm praying for you. I'll see you next time here on Babbie's House.